Hey guys, welcome. How are you all doing? Let me know if you can hear me because yesterday my mic wasn't working. So I got some incredibly valuable information for you today. Sorry, I had a terrible itch on my nose that I want to share, and yet I'm very aware of all the crazy things going on out in the world that we are all dealing with. I think one of the most interesting things is this is not limited to any one area, it's worldwide. So, kids are out of school now for 4 weeks, no restaurants are open. Thank goodness we as farmers know how to cook and can help our customers through these hard times, because a lot of my friends don't know how to cook and my customers only do because I've been teaching them as time goes on. So anyway, if you are using this opportunity where you're stuck home to maybe learn a little bit, I'm still here for you teaching these Biz Tip Tuesdays. So every Tuesday, I'm going to teach you things that will, when done, will be like a master's degree in marketing. Not kidding. So today is all about something I hear from you guys a lot, that you feel like the marketplace is crowded. How do you stand out? How do you get loud enough to attract enough people so you can sell? Because really, you guys, our competition is no longer the people around us trying to sell the same products, or the people at the farmer's market if we're at a market, or the grocery stores locally. It is all of that. Our competition is everybody around us, and it's all the home delivery services. It's fast food deliver. Everybody delivers now, Uber Eats, but also the meal kit, the boxes. Started out with Blue Apron. I think they're bankrupt now. But we are competing in a very crowded marketplace with the products we raise. And yet, I have built an amazingly successful business in the middle of that, selling the same things that are sold at the grocery store. And now I teach others how to do the same thing. The key is you've got to learn to differentiate yourself in a crowded marketplace. So I'm going to give you some specific tips here, and you can ask questions if you want to, but I want to give you an example. I want to use a very common marketplace, the sock marketplace. Okay. Could be kind of considered similar because we're the food industry, many of us, some of us are flowers, but food industry is as common as the sock industry, I think, or probably food industries more so, but let's talk about socks. You can buy every brand, many numerous brands of socks at all different price points, and yet all the sock companies are incredibly successful. So I want to start with one. Let me tell you about Hanes. You've all heard of Hanes socks, right? Hanes is just low-end, low-price socks every day. I can get them at the grocery store. When my daughter runs out of socks, or I wake up and my socks have a hole in them, I can always grab Hanes socks. They're an old standby. They are comfortable. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes over there. They're low price, so I can grab a few pairs, throw them in the grocery cart, and go. So Hanes socks, the Hanes Corporation, very successful, even though they just sell like $2 socks. And then we have other socks, like there's this sock called Smart Wool. You've heard of that, right? Smart Wool is attractive to people like my son and daughter-in-law who shop at REI. If you go to REI, there's Smart Wool all over. It's for the hiker. It's for the mountain climber. There's Smart Wool really differentiates itself. It's more expensive, and they serve a totally different person. Well, they can even serve the same people, but then the Hanes customers. In our household, we have some Smart Wool socks, and we have some Hanes socks. Again, I want to let you know that this is very much, if you sell chicken, you're going to have people who in their house, they will have your high-end chicken, and they will have some grocery store reconstituted chicken to throw together for something. So what I'm getting at is you've got to learn to differentiate yourself, but you won't necessarily only have one customer who only buys your product. They're going to buy the other products too. So our family is going to buy some smart wool socks for, like, my daughter went hiking to the beach all day today. She's going to wear her smart wools, and then we wear Hanes for every day. Then same industry, sock industry, you've got Nike. Nike is for the athlete, okay? I do triathlons. So I've got lots of Nike socks that are very thin, and I love them. And then I like the Nike no-show socks that are kind of below the shoe. I have Nike socks in my drawer. When I go out to buy Nike socks, I'm not going to buy Hanes, and I'm not going to buy Smart Wool. I am after Nike, okay? Your chicken is the same way, if that's what we're talking about, or your grass-fed beef. You're fitting in a niche, and you are differentiated. You're going to learn how to differentiate yourself in a way that the sock industry has. Then, keeping going, there are now Bombas. Bombas socks are really popular among younger people. I think you can even order a subscription, and they have been engineered to be the most comfortable sock out there. So I just described 4 socks. You know, we all wake up almost every day and put socks on, and yet there is room in a very crowded sock marketplace for all kinds of new people are inventing new socks all the time. So when you as a farmer start to get disheartened, and you think, well, I sell grass-fed beef, and now look at this, they can buy it online. I'm telling you, you got to put your focus back on your own paper. Put those goggles on. There is nobody, you are going to learn to set yourself up to be very different than anybody else online. Just as if, are you going to be the Hanes sock seller, or the Nike socks, or the Bombas, or the other ones? The Smart Wool socks, okay? Which one are you going to be? You've got to learn to differentiate. Now, the problem with this, Deborah has Bombas, I don't. We all own way too many socks, and we keep buying them. And your farm products will be the same way when you learn to differentiate. So the big problem I see farmers doing is you guys are trying to differentiate yourselves by your farming practices. You're trying to differentiate yourself by making a better beef, or a better flour, or a better chicken, by saying, well, we graze our beef cows this many days, or we use no pesticides on our flours. So you're trying to make yourself differentiated by being better. Let me tell you this is really important for you to remember. Better is not better. Different is better. So I have raw milk people saying, well, our raw milk is better because we use this kind of cleaning process. To our customers, that is not better. That doesn't connect with them. They aren't connecting with that. You aren't able to sell out at the 50% profit margin, because you're trying to market your products thinking that being better is better. And it's not that at all. It's being different is better. So go back to, remember my podcast with my branding worksheets, all those questions. Someone was in the group yesterday talking about those questions. Those questions tell you exactly how your customers see your products as different. Your customers don't see them as better because of your farming practices. They don't know that lingo. Every time I go to a conference and do an all-day workshop, I bring a perfect stranger on stage and I interview them about why they buy farm fresh food. Everyone in the audience is always blown away that they never once say, well, I buy farm fresh food because it's raised with chemical free or GMO free, or it's grass fed or grass finished or rotated, or there's no pesticides on the flowers. Nobody says any of those things. And these are perfect strangers I've never met. They've never been coached on what I'm going to ask them. I ask them the same questions that are in the branding bundle. And that tells you how people see your products as different. That's what you need to get to. Doesn't take much homework at all to come to this answer. This is what my students in Farm Marketing from the Heart are working on right now, this week. They're learning how their products stand out because they are different, because you will go broke trying to produce a better product. You guys really need to get that in your heads. Stop trying to be better. Better is not better. Different is better. Okay, let me give you some ideas. Got more notes over here. So when I started my farm 11 years ago, it was because my kids had both developed severe eczema when they were 6 years old, and they had it for 6 years, one 6 years, one 3 years. Severe eczema all over their body. Someone said, oh, you should drink raw milk. I'd never heard of it. We found raw milk, and my kids' eczema went away within 2 weeks. After 6 years of doctors prescribing steroid creams and different steroids and different supplements and excuse me, all the moms I talked to had recommended different herbs and different salves and different oils. Nothing worked until we started raw milk. Their eczema went away. So when I started selling raw milk, I was already differentiated, and I didn't even realize it. Now, 11 years later, I know exactly what happened. If I were like all the other raw milk farmers out there that are long since out of business, tried to produce better raw milk and made that my marketing, like, you should buy my raw milk because we're on grass this much of the year and we're GMO free and we're feeding our cows this and all that. That's what all the other farmers were doing. They were not different. They were trying to be better, and they were going broke. I was different because I had this story that I shared about my raw milk that, hey, I started feeding my kids raw milk. I'd never heard of it before. Their eczema went away. People started hearing my story, and they're like, you got to meet this woman. You got to buy her raw milk. And pretty soon our customers' babies' eczema was going away too, and word gets around. We were different because that is what I was selling. That's what people were coming to me and buying my milk for, because they heard my story. So how are you different? Another way we were different is a lot of people had raw milk to this day, people have, you pick it up, self-serve, all right? They don't ever get to see the farmer or interact. In my farm store, it was always hosted. They had unfettered access to me or my employees, who all had these amazing stories of health recovery. So what made my raw milk stand out was unfettered access to someone with a healing story that was what they wanted. We were an example of what was possible. That made me different. They could buy raw milk at several places around me for less money, and all those farmers were struggling to produce better raw milk using farming practices, but they looked at mine was better because it was different. They had unfettered access to someone who was a role model for who they wanted to be. Okay, so now that's enough about my raw milk. Let's talk about something like flowers. Say you sell flowers. Around me now, there are daffodil stands, self-serve, all over the place, and they're full of daffodils, and not very many people stop in and buy flowers because they're not making them feel welcome. There's nothing different about them. They try to be different and say, oh, we don't use chemicals. But remember, better is not better. Different is better. So if you are selling daffodils, like my friend Erin Simmons up on Vashon Island, she has the most beautiful little wrap that her flowers come in. And I looked at that, and I would buy her flowers just because of the paper they're wrapped in. And that's what she likes to be known for, is those special touches. Different is better. Okay. And say you're selling flowers and they come with all sorts of how-to videos on how to style them. Or you sell flowers and you've got a video on the health benefits of having fresh flowers inside your house and a story about that. So you don't just sell, what makes your flowers stand out is your difference. And that's why people are going to buy them. What else do you have to offer? I've got a great podcast episode coming out Thursday, but I talk about having a little thank you note in your order, people's orders when they pick up their meat box, their box of meat, having a handwritten thank you note in there. That is different. And that's what will make you better. Not these expensive farming practices. That's not what you want to focus on. You want to make your product the best you can be with your farming practices, but that is not your marketing. Okay, so thank you note in your box of meat is going to make you stand out and make you different. All right, so let's talk about one other thing. Price is not going to make you better. As soon as you bring up price as a marketing tactic, you have just commoditized your product and you have to be the cheapest price out there. As soon as you bring up price, you are teaching your customers that you better be cheap, okay? So price is not anything that you want to be differentiated on. Don't bring price into the conversation, because again, our customers aren't worried about price. If your customers are worried about price with you, that's feedback to you that you haven't invested in learning how to communicate the value. That's what we teach you in Farm Marketing from the Heart. When you communicate value, price is no object. If your customers are focused on getting a good deal or getting a cheap price, it's on you that you haven't invested in learning how to communicate value. So just know that as soon as you try to differentiate yourself by bringing price into it, you have taught your customers that the cheaper, the better, and you won't win that race. That's something I see people go out of business all the time for, is they start to compete on price, or they think that pricing is their marketing. Just choose the best price you can, get the most you can. You need a 50% profit margin or you're not going to last very long, or unless you keep pumping money in from your day job, of course, which will never solve your problem or help you reach your goal of retiring from your day job. So choose that price. Price is not your differentiator. Our marketing students are often the highest priced vendors at the farmers market, and they are the ones who sell out the fastest, okay? Pricing does not determine how many sales you make, all right? So just know that as soon as you try to be different based on price, it's not gonna work. Okay, so now the other thing you wanna make sure you're doing is, like we talked about last week, you've got to have that core offer. You are not differentiated if you sell a lot of different things, because then people don't know who you are or what you do. Someone will say, hey, have you met Joe, the farmer that sells chicken? And someone will say, well, I met Joe, the farmer, but I didn't know he sold chicken. I thought he sold jam. And I hear this a lot. They will think of a farmer and they don't really know what the farmer's known for, and so they don't go shop with them. So that was last week's video. You'll want to watch it if you didn't, how important it is to make sure you are focusing on what is your core product, because that is what differentiates you as well, okay? So let's see, and now I want to make sure that I've hit all my notes, okay? I'm just about done. If you guys have questions, let me know. I think, meat, recipes, you guys, if that is one of the easiest things you can do to make yourself differentiated, is make sure that whenever anyone, just the easiest thing, whenever anyone buys any cut of meat from you, they have a recipe to go with it or a recipe booklet free for you to create. People don't know, they need the basics. And also what I've learned is they can Google any recipe anywhere. They have access to any fancy restaurant recipe they could imagine from any famous chef. But what our customers want are our recipes, our favorite way to cook roast chicken. I think if you Google roast chicken, you might get 10 million recipes. Really, there's millions of recipes on Google for roast chicken. But our customers want our roast chicken recipe, or my husband's favorite roast chicken recipe. When you include that with your $40, $45 chicken, which is what our chickens go for, and they're 7 pounds each, your customers, now you have differentiated yourself. Price is no object because you are different. And our chickens, we try to make the best chickens we can. We raise them in the best practices possible. But there's a lot of other farmers in our area trying to raise them with the best practices possible. So remember, better does not make you better. Different makes you better. So figure out, just use some of the ideas I've given you here today. Figure out, how are you different than everybody else in your area selling raw milk or eggs or beef or chicken or flowers or vegetables, because once you find out how you are different, and that is how you market your products, there is no competition. You can have all kinds of people around you in the same community selling the same product. You will stand out and you will sell out. Or you can be one of several vendors at the farmer's market selling the same product. Once you learn to differentiate yourself, you will sell out at the highest price in the whole market. So that is what happens when you learn to differentiate. So this is part 2. This series is gonna go on for a long time. So just know that every Tuesday I'll come in here. These videos will be put on YouTube as well. And by the time you get through all the videos, you're gonna have what the equivalent of a master's degree in marketing. Not kidding you. The people who take my course that have master's degrees in marketing have never learned any of this stuff in their education. So this is above and beyond what you will learn in most places. However, once you learn it, you will build your profitable business. All right, you guys, let me know if you have questions or any other topics you want help with. Part 1 last week was your core product, your signature product. Part 2 today is how to be different. Better is not better, different is better. That's what I want to leave you with. Okay, take care, and I hope you're dealing with everything that's going on in the world as best you can. We're all here to support each other if we need it. That's why I love this online community. Thank goodness for it. Okay, take care, you guys, and bye-bye.